Bonjour, everyone. Hi, this is Neshi Lokotz. Welcome to I was going to say spiritual roundtable. It's not. It's the communications from home. it's my weekly evening show, Communications from Home. Thank you so much for being here with me this evening. And I have to say that I've been looking forward to this for quite some time. When I was thinking about this particular show, this particular evening, and how to explain, what we're doing tonight. What kept coming to me was how we all have searched. We've been seekers, and some of us still are seekers, right? Seeking spiritual information. And sometimes it is because we're looking to learn, right? And other times it's because we're looking to validate a recent experience we may have had, or perhaps a dream or something like that, right? For validation. And so that's what I wanted to talk about tonight in the way that Star Nations magazine helps us to do that. I just want to get my pictures up here and get them loaded up for you. I should have done this a little bit earlier. That's all right. We'll get it done. We're going to talk about the first couple anyway. There. All right. So that's what tonight's show is all about. It's about how we use our gifts to be able to communicate and share information about experiences, wisdom that we have gained in a way that we're hoping that it's going to be helpful to others in their spiritual growth, in their experience here as a spirit on earth, right? And so that's what we're going to talk about tonight. And I'm hoping, I really want to have a really good conversation about the articles that are highlighted in this issue, which is the August issue, August 2019, issue 75. But you know what? Before I forget, because I'll start talking and I'll forget, is that I want to send the live stream show over to my news feed, just to remind my friends that I'm live streaming, okay? And I invite you to do the same, even if you send it to one friend, right? Somebody that you think or you feel that would be interested in the conversation. That's always very helpful. Oh my goodness. I just realized, you guys, I don't know if you can see it, but the crystal that I have hanging in the western window is shining its prism behind me. Isn't that kind of cool? And actually, it's all over the ceiling too. I had to close the curtain because the setting sun is like right in my eyes. So I had to close the curtain only partial way, and I must have hit the crystal on the way out. Looks kind of cool. All right, so see, I got so easy to take me in another direction. It's like, a golden retriever or George and a leaf. All right, so I'm going to send the live stream over to my news feed, just so I can remind my friends that I'm live streaming. And then I'll ask them to please join us. Come out and play. There we go. We'll get that posted. I think I better plug in my phone. I'm almost out of juice. Oh my gosh, okay. I think I better send it over to Star Nation's live stream show closed group, because I don't see Stephanie in the house yet. So there we go. And we're just gonna let the peeps know that I'm live streaming. And please join us. There we go. There. That'll do. Better turn down my sound on my phone. There. Excellent. Yay. Yay, yay, yay. Okay, let's see who's in the chat. Looks like April's here. Hi, April. It's good to see you in the house. It's always good to have you here. And Rob's here too. Do you have a light show going on behind you? Yes, I do. It's still kind of swinging, but the sun isn't hitting it directly anymore. So that was kind of cool, wasn't it? I'll have to do that more often. Hi, Jocelyn. All good. So good to have you here. Yeah, you saw the rainbows too. I didn't realize I did that, and when I looked up, to see the screen and saw those rainbows, I thought, oh, now if I can remember to do that during the evening shows like this, that would be really, really cool. So you might want to remind me, ask me, where's the crystal rainbows? And hey, Marie's here too. Hello, Marie. Marie, you just missed it. We had the crystal that I have hanging in the western window here at the academy. When I was pulling the curtains shut, I must have hit it, and it was sending out rainbows. It looked like an electric light show behind me. Actually, what it was the electric light show was on the ceiling. On the ceiling, yeah, and a few behind me. It was kind of cool. All right, now this evening's show is something that I do every month to share with you about the newly published issue of Star Nations magazine, right? And this month, when I was sitting back and I was pulling together all of the show descriptions for the week, right? I'm pulling them all together into one document for Stephanie. When I got to mine, it was like, I want to do something different. So I'm talking to my spiritual team, right? And I'm asking them, how can I do this differently? It feels like we need to shift how we do things with this, right? And so the answer was, you're doing it already. You're having a spiritual conversation with folks, right? And it was all about how we can all relate to that feeling that we have when we're searching for certain spiritual information, right? We're searching many times it's because we're learning. We have something that we want to learn about, whether it's Reiki or maybe the chakras, or, where we want to learn about something. Maybe we heard a word or a phrase, or we read something and it piqued our interest, and now we want to find out more about it, right? And so we go searching, right? We're seekers. We look for that information. We look in many, many different places. We look for blog articles. We look for books. We look for YouTube videos. And with us, we look for them for the magazine, right? Yeah. And why? Why would we look at Star Nations magazine for this? I have to share with you that the contributing writers, from the very beginning when we decided that we were going to publish a magazine, the contributing writers, what they offered every single month was tools for us to be able to use on our journey here, whether it was meditations or they were talking about sacred sites, get feng shui. I'm trying to think of all the past ones. Angels, spiritual based businesses. We were offering from our experience, from our hearts, that wisdom that we gained because of what we went through, what we walked through, right? And offering it to the readers. And so it was always about, how can we be the most helpful? How can we be sharing something that maybe somebody's been looking for, right? And I think of Orchard Franklin, right? I think about all the articles that she wrote about Egyptian mystery school in the last 4 years, 5 years. which, by the way, we're pulling together for her first book. We're hoping to have it out this fall. So that's what this evening is all about, okay? So as I begin to share about the articles, keep that in mind because there might be something that's being shared that either piques your interest or you've been searching for information. Okay. Marie, it's you. Well, I'd like to think so, but really it was the crystal with the sunshine shining through it. Hey, Julie Shumway Hill's here. Marie said, I just finished Reiki 1 last weekend. You did? Well, congratulations. Good for you. Yay. So now you know how to give yourself healing, right? Yeah, self-healing. That's good. Good for you, Marie. It takes some commitment to do that in any kind of study that you do for certification, right? Anything. It takes commitment, it takes determination, and a good dose of self-discipline to finish it. Because how many of us have taken classes and we end up not using, right, the stuff that we thought we were going to use? Although I am a firm believer in everything that we experience is meant for our highest good and for our soul growth here. Everything. Even those things that we think, oh, geez, I just wasted a whole bunch of time on that. It's never a waste of time. It's never a waste of energy. We might stick with something maybe longer than we needed to because, maybe it's those things that was drilled into us as kids. You finish what you start, right? And so sometimes we don't need to go all the way to the end. We need to get what we need out of it, right? Yeah. And so, nothing's a waste. It really doesn't. I think about all those years that I did. I was a performer, Native American dance, at a place called Stand Rock Indian Ceremonial in Wisconsin Dells, where I grew up. And I danced professionally there for 4 years, I think it was 4 years. I don't think it was 5, I think it was 4 years. And I spent 2 years being an usher. And, at that age, I think I was 13 or 14 when I first started. I think I was 13. And dancing in front of 2,000 people every night. And sometimes doing the contest dance, meaning that you're dancing in the ring by yourself. The drummers are drumming for you, and you have the spotlight on you, right? Yeah, I think it prepared me for a whole lot of stuff. That's what I think of. So nothing is a waste of time. Okay, so I want to show you the cover. Okay, show you the cover. There we go. I love this cover. This is citrine. Isn't it pretty? I saw that, and I had another cover and selected before Mervyn Kelly submitted his pictures for his article. And I saw this and I said, oh my God, that's got to be the cover. It's got to be. So I asked him, is it okay if we use one of your pictures for your article for the cover? And of course he said yes. And so these are citrines and they belong to Mervyn Kelly, and he took the picture. When I saw the proof cover, it was like, oh my God. And actually you guys are the ones that validated that. Okay. Because any one of the covers that I had selected would have been great. But I put it out there for a vote for you guys to help select it. And this particular cover had, I want to say it was like 14 or 15, maybe it was even 17 votes for the cover. And that came, I usually post those at the the Star Nation's live stream shows closed group. It used to be the radio network closed group, but it's so you guys helped pick this out, and it was by a very wide margin that this particular picture, this cover was hands down. Love it. And I think our layout specialist, Elf Elm, they did a really good job in doing the layout. Yeah, because those crystals certainly have become front and center, right? Yeah. Marie saying exactly why the crystal showed a rainbow. Exactly. Exactly. Oh my gosh, those crystals were probably talking to each other, right? All right, so this is the cover, and it is so pretty. And so what we're going to do tonight is we're going to talk. I'm going to share with you about all of the article titles that are on the cover. Okay, that doesn't mean that these are the only articles in the magazine. There are 14 articles in the magazine. All right, and this is just a half, not even half. I think there's six of them that we're going to be talking about tonight. Okay, yay! All right, so love that cover. Take that one down. We're going to bring this one up. I'm going to give this one a solo because it's so pretty too, if I can. Will it let me? Yes, it will. All right. So this is Angel Therapy column by Maureen Mann. And the title is Navigating Endings and Beginnings with the Angels, right? And that happens to be a picture that Maureen took while she was on vacation on the Atlantic Ocean. And Maureen said she was inspired to understand the angels' role in helping us navigate the cycles of rebirth and renewal. So she connected with the angels, and she said she received a message, and the message is to appreciate each phase of the process. That we're here to use what we learn to both expand the light within and then bring the light to the world. And how she shared this message from the angels, because I get to read the articles like 3 or 4 times, and then the 5th time is in the final proof, right? But the first time I read this, it really touched me in a way that it validated how I feel about our role here and how our healing affects us most certainly, but it also affects others around us, right? And depending on what you're healing, it also may affect humanity as a whole, and that's a lot of souls that you're affecting, right? Yeah. So Maureen took something that was happening to her in the recent past and wanted to know more from the angels about how does this all come together? Why do we go through these kinds of things? And we all have endings and beginnings in our life, more than once, more than twice. For some people, it happens multiple times, right? And so how do you get through that? And why do you have to go through it? And so do you see how when somebody is searching for this kind of information, how it could be helpful to them, either helping to guide them to the angels and which angels are most helpful in this, but it's also a whole lot of validation for those of us who've been through a recent massive shift and change, right? And it helps us with our integration, I think. But you're going to have to read it for yourself to see what message is in there for you, right? Yeah, I just love that picture. Well, you know, I have a thing about sunrises and sunsets, right? And I believe that's her daughter standing with her back to us looking at the setting sun. Yeah. Hey, Deborah's here. Hello, Deborah. Good to have you here. All right. So that's Marine Man author. And here's another one. Now, this column is called The Witch's Cauldron, and it's by Adrienne Campbell. And the title of her article this month is The Magic of Friendship. The articles were the topics. I send out a list of topics to the writers about, I want to say it's like 6 weeks sometimes, definitely 4 weeks out. And they get to select from the topics what they would like to write about, right? And so this month's topics was artist appreciation, legacy, angels, friendship, and grounding healing crystals. Yeah. And so the writers then select their topic, and you know, we almost all of us do this, is that we sit with it, we sit with the topics in front of us, and we're asking our spiritual team, what do we write about this month? And what topic area is most important for us to share about? And then we get led. We get led to the topic, and then we get led to one of our experiences, and the creation of the article unfolds. It's really a very beautiful process. I don't know if many of you knew that's how most of the writers write. It certainly isn't a linear process, that's for sure. That's for sure. All right, so this particular article by Adrienne, okay, there we go. Adrienne's article, The Magic of Friendship. Adrienne says that, do you have a best friend from childhood? Adrienne shares her experience with the magic of friendship. Friendship teaches us the meaning of tribe, of community, and why the universe allows us to cross paths with people that we're intended to meet. So this article really does support your wish for meaningful friendship, right? Not just an acquaintance, although, you know, that can happen too, right? But what Adrienne talks about is the magic behind these friendships. And I'm sure every single one of us can think back to our childhood and think about that one special friend, right? And you might even still be friends with them all these years later, right? Mine happens to be Marley Moore. She and I have been friends since the 3rd grade, and she's my bookkeeper for Star Nations. And so we go way back, right? And so what Adrienne talks about in this is how those early friendships help us to create our first friendships and what we look for. At that early age, those early friendships really helped to form all of our friendships from that point on, right? So if we really connected with those early friendships and really thought about what they mean to us and how they fulfill us, that some of the friendships that happened that we felt, oh my gosh, how did I get into that? You know, that they may or may not have happened in that way. Yeah. And so Adrienne, every month, she also includes, because Adrienne is a herbologist. She uses her gift of her connection with plants, and she is a solitary witch. Um, and she uses her gift and her skills to bring to us recipes for like teas and bath salts, um, and also she teaches us about certain kinds of ceremonies that we can do as well. And so with this article, she includes, I believe it's a tea recipe for this one, so we can have tea with our besties, right? Yeah. So the magic of friendship. So how many people in the chat, just kind of think back a little bit, remembering that first really good friend, right? And how that friendship felt, and how happy you were always to see that one person, right? Or maybe it was a group of friends. Yeah. Just think back on it just a little bit. And I have to say, the column title, The Witch's Cauldron, it's a very bold title for Adrienne. Adrienne's a very private person, and but she also wanted to share her gift. She wanted to share her gift of plants, and also to really start using her gift as for writing. Yeah. So I hope you guys enjoy The Witch's Cauldron, The Magic of Friendship by Adrienne Campbell. I love this photo. She found this photo and asked if she could use it. And I said, sure, why not? It's a pretty one. Okay, so I'm going to bring up a couple more pictures. I'm going to get rid of these. And all right, here's a couple more. Oops, got to add them. I'm actually getting the gist of this new studio. I'm feeling a heck of a lot more comfortable with it. Okay, so there's an article here that is really near and dear to my heart. It's by Sharon Rosenblum, and Sharon is one of those ladies, one of my sisters. You guys heard me talk about my sisters a lot. She's one of the sisters, and she started out helping me with Star Nations in a personal way. She's my editor. She has edited everything I've written for any reason for Star Nations. She's a professional editor. She was a high school English teacher, so she really knows what she's doing. And then, oh gosh, I can't even tell you when it was. She asked me one time, she was at my house, and she asked me one time, she goes, if it ever comes to the point where I can maybe contribute something to the magazine in a writing kind of way, I would really like to do that. And I'd really like to do it around food, if it's possible. And so we talked about it a bit and chatted about it. And darned if it wasn't like not quite 3 months later, the person who was writing for us at the time about food needed to take a break. And so I called Sharon and I said, do you think you're ready like soon? And so we talked about her column and what to call it. And she was in meditation and she heard this phrase, nourishing body and soul. And so that's what we called it, nourishing body and soul. And she says a healthy and wholesome food for a healthy life. That's her tagline. And so this month, Sharon writes about artistic passion. Artistic passion. Yeah. And what does that have to do with food, right? Well, she does give us a really, really good, yummy recipe for brookies. And if you don't know what a brookie is, it's a It's a combination of a brownie and a cookie. And so the brookies, they're really good. So in this article, the reason why I love it so much is because Sharon shares with us her heart about art. She is also an artist. She is a freelance photographer. She also creates her own glass beads and creates jewelry from her beads. She's a quilter. She's made quilts for her grandbabies. Yeah. And so what she was sharing with this is that sometimes as an artist, you don't necessarily are out there putting your artwork out to be judged, right? First, second place kind of judging kind of stuff. And she says that there's a lot of artists out there that are really, really good, but very few people know about them because they're so private about their artwork, right? And a lot of great artists started out that way, right? And so one of the things that she wrote about in her article was her appreciation for one of our other sisters, Christine Pollock, who is a spiritual artist. She has illustrated books. She's been invited to illustrate for divination cards. Well, I'm not sure if she's going to do that, but she's been invited to do it. She's been published several times, but she is and some of you have seen her work in Facebook. She will post, and she's working on a planetary series, doing the planets and the goddesses that are associated with those planets. And some of you may have seen her artwork. Here is her artwork. I'm going to bring this one down. I'm going to bring this one up. And I'm going to give that one a solo because it deserves one. There we go. This is Pluto, the planet Pluto. And so Christine Pollock created this piece of art. And Sharon asked Christine if it would be all right if she used this picture to go along with her article this month, because it was about artist appreciation. And so Sharon asks, do you know an artist? Because many of us do. Many of us are artists. She says that she embraces her artistic talents and also those of other artists. She shares about a recent art piece created by a good friend and sister, Christine Pollock. Christine's series of the planets with goddesses touches our souls, and it speaks to the divine feminine. It speaks to the divine feminine and how many of us are searching for a way to be able to balance out our divine feminine and our divine masculine, right? As we make the shift of the ages, the illuminated age, right? As we make that shift, we're looking for ways, searching for ways that we can express that divine goddess within and to have the balance between those divine energies within us, right? Yeah. And through artwork is one of those pathways. Whether or not you are taking in the art as an appreciating it and taking in the energy, the medicine of that piece of art, or perhaps you are an artist and that is an outlet for you of one of your many gifts that you can use to connect with that divine feminine energy within. Right? Yeah. So as seekers, we can take an article like this and put it into our life, and how can we use this gift that I have, no matter what kind of artwork that you do, to express that divine feminine, to bring that to closer to the surface, right? And in a in a healthy way. In a healthy way. Yeah. So, and if you love brownies and cookies, you got to take a look at that recipe. It's good. It's a good one. And I believe she also offers gluten-free um, information about that. So, yeah, she's really good at converting recipes to gluten-free. When we get together, she's the main chef. All right, here's the next one. This is the featured article. Featured article. And by the way, so was Maureen Mann's article was a featured article as well. So it's a little bit longer than our standard article. And so she really had the opportunity to really go deep into the angels and how they can assist us in those new beginnings and endings. All right, so here is the Healing Crystal article by our very own Mervyn Kelly, who is the live stream show host for From Star to Stone. And some of his most watched live stream shows, both live and recorded, have been when he shares about crystals and stones. And so when I contacted him to see if he was available to write a featured article for us, he was kind of, I don't know, I'm not the best writer in all the world. And so I was sharing with him that the crystals are actually going to tell the story. That you're the conduit to deliver their message to us. And if you think about it in that way, let me know if that's something that you'd like to be a part of, right? And so it didn't take him very long. I think it was like even the end of that same day. He says, I'm going to do it. I'm doing it. In fact, I picked out, I went and talked to my crystals and I asked them, so who wants their story shared and how you can help us in healing, our healing work? And so there were several that spoke up and said, me, please. And so he writes about several healing crystals here and what their natural ability to help us both heal ourselves, but also perhaps if you have a healing service or you're thinking about starting your own healing service using crystals, this is an article that you'll want to keep as a reference. As a reference. Yeah. Because Mervyn is a modern day druid. I don't know if you guys knew that. That is his belief system. He's very connected to the goddess and connected to Grandmother Earth. And so his perspective comes from druidry. And so if that is in your genetic makeup, right, that your ancestors come from Europe, come from England, Ireland, Scotland, France, Germany, right? Because they all had their own druids, right? Yeah. So if you're searching for that kind of information or information that brings you closer to understanding our crystal relatives, or perhaps it's about validating, confirming what you have been shown, perhaps with a dream or on that last hike that you took, and you're thinking, this crystal's talking to me. Right? Yeah. It can help validate your experience. Yeah. Hey, Morgan, thank you. Your hair looks fab. So happy you can watch us now. Well, thank you. I'm so glad you're here too. Thank you. Yeah, I recently got my hair cut on Friday. And today was such a flat out flat out busy day. I just didn't have time to do much with it. And so this is my natural body wave with a little product in it, very little, and air dried because I didn't even have time to use a hair dryer on my hair today. So thank you so much, Morgan. You don't know what that does to my confidence. I'm so glad. I really am. Okay. And Rob said Switzerland was also part of golf. That's right. That's right. Thank you. And and Rob, he shared with us not too long ago. I think it was in the afternoon show, Spiritual Roundtable, that he is stepping onto the path of Druidry himself. And I was so happy when you shared that, Rob. I'm happy for you. And so when we're seekers of a certain knowledge, a certain way of being, right? It's articles like this can really help us learn or to validate that I'm on the right path. Because you remember in those early days, you guys, that we're always questioning, geez, I hope I'm on the right path. I hope I'm doing this right. How do I know this is the right one to choose? Right? Well, for me, it was always my family stuff, right? I grew up with it. But I also had to go through a lot of sifting through the belief systems and seeing which ones were truth for me and which ones weren't, right? And so we all go through that sifting process. But it's articles like this and writers like Mervyn, teachers like Mervyn, who can help us to find those answers that we're looking for, because they're all within, right? And also to help us understand that validation, that what it feels like when that validation arrives. It's a good one. I really liked his article. I really did. And the pictures that he took of all those crystals, holy smokes, they jump right off the page. Yeah. Okay. Next, we're going to bring up a couple more. We're almost done with the articles. I got a couple more things I want to share with you guys, though, too. And get the pictures going here. All right, we've got two more to do. All right. So this next one I'm bringing up is it's called the column is Wisdom Keeper's Path. Wisdom Keeper's Path. And the contributing writer is Eddie Mullins. Now, how many of you guys know Eddie? Eddie has started with Star Nations when we first launched, and then he took a break. And then 2 years ago, I called him up and said, Eddie, we need to talk. And so I asked him if he'd be interested in coming back and joining us again. And I said, please don't answer me right now. Take the weekend, meditate on it, sit with it, ask your spiritual team if this is something that's meant for you. And so he called me back on that following Sunday evening, and he says, I'm in. And so he is one of our monthly contributing writers, and I'm hoping one day he'll actually be one of our show hosts too, but he's kind of burned out about that. So I'm waiting. Told him whenever he's ready to go, we'll produce a show for him. So his article this month is Angel Signs, Any Time of Day. And one of the things I just love about Eddie's writing is that he writes from his own experience, from his heart for sure, right? And it's the way he writes. It's the way he writes, because you really feel like you're walking with him. You really feel like he's brought you into the story, into his story. It's one of those articles that can help you know when you're getting validated from the angels, your experience, okay? So I'm going to give that a little bit of a solo here. And so Eddie, he says that the angels want to help you in every way possible, to let you know they're around you. There are many, many different types of angel signs around us, and angels, many different kinds of angels. He says that over the years, he's experienced thousands of signs from the angels. He shares with you a couple of different types of signs that happened to him about 4 years ago, and only days apart.
Okay.
Serious. Oh my God. All right. I don't know why she turned on. Okay, so, and he was sharing this experience that happened to him only days apart and why that occurred. His article really feels uplifting, and it's one of those insightful ones that you think that it feels like it could be your story. That happened to me, right? And so it's one of those stories that can help validate your experience. Yeah. And he found his own picture too, and I really like that. I love that design. It's you know what that actually is raindrops on a window, and it looks like maybe it was like, kind of a cold day, and so they were kind of starting to form ice crystals on the window. I thought that was like way cool. Yeah. So Eddie, he's one of my favorite people. He's a very gentle man. He's a gentle soul. He's got such an infectious laugh too. All right. So, all right. You guys, I've interviewed Karen Crowley Suzani a few times on my show. Yeah. She started writing for us a couple years ago. Her column is called Earth Energies. And I tell you what, she is so knowledgeable about earth energies and sacred sites. And so in this particular article, she calls it the sacred legacy of the ancient world. Just the title alone. And she offers us many different pictures that she's taken herself of different sacred sites. And what this particular article is about is how there's layers of different civilizations and cultures that are on top of sacred sites, right? And okay, let me just tell you about it because it's really, really good. She says that the legacy of sacred places are left behind by ancient cultures are still alive today. Sometimes the original structure remains, and sometimes it's morphed into something that fits into the culture that now occupies the land. But what is important is the sacred energy remains for us to explore. One of the reasons why we're so drawn to sacred sites, right? I mean, how many people say, I want to go to Machu Picchu. I want to go to Stonehenge. I want to go to the mounds in Ohio and Indiana and Illinois, right? The effigy mounds. There's a reason why we're so drawn to those places. But what Karen talks about in her article is that, especially in Europe, the pagan holy wells, right? Many times civilizations came in and they would build on top of them. And she's helping us to look at what Christianity did to those holy wells. Many people said they were desecrated, right? As they were taken over by a different culture. But she's helping us to look at it from a higher perspective, a perspective that we're evolving, changing all the time, and that the original earth energy that supported that sacred site is still there. It's still there. And it can be accessed in many different ways. And in that time frame, for our evolution as souls, certain situations had to occur, right? But what remains is that that site is still sacred. And as a Native American, I had to sit back and look at that and really take that in, right? Because there's so many times where we have sacred sites that many people might not even consider them as sacred sites because they don't have that structure around it. Yeah. Yeah. So this one was an eye opener. This one will help you see something from an expanded point of view and perhaps even help you to sift through your belief systems. Yeah. And give you I'm hoping it's going to give you one of those aha moments, one of those insights, right? Yeah. And Karen is, oh my gosh, she was in the Air Force, flew planes in the Air Force. Then she became a commercial pilot, and she was seeing sacred sites from the air. And that is what drew her in, right? And I don't know if you guys know this. I'm going to interview her again because she's so interesting and so much fun to talk to. But she is also now starting to fly her own drone so that she can take these pictures from an elevated perspective of the sacred sites. And so the pictures will belong to her. Yeah. Can't wait to see them. Can't wait. All right. So that is the highlights of the articles in Star Nation's August issue, number 75. And let me tell you how, we have some issues with the availability of a certain version of our magazine. But before I get into that, I want to make sure that you guys have where did I put that? I thought I put it someplace where I could find it. Did you ever do that? Where did I put that? I want to take that down. I can move those around a bit. Okay. I want to make sure that you can access the magazine through, we have two partners who help us with selling our magazine. One is called MagCloud. Okay, MagCloud. They're the ones that help us with the print on demand issue. But they also provide it in a digital form, which is the PDF and the web viewer version of the magazine. And some people going, web what? Because that's what I did. All right, so the PDF and web viewer means that you can see the magazine on any device that you have, whether it's a desktop or a laptop or a tablet or a phone. Okay, but you have to have MagCloud's app to use your phone and your tablet. Yes. And so you can purchase the magazine from them. And if you like to have the magazine in your hands and read a hard copy, that's where we offer it through, is through MagCloud. If you like to have the PDF, so you can actually print out, the pages for yourself, you can do that. I wouldn't print out the whole thing. It's like 60 pages. There's no reason to do that. But if you wanted the recipe, say, okay, or perhaps Mervin's article about the stones, right? You want to take that with you to the store or whatever, or when you're shopping online. Okay. So, and the web viewer, it's for those of us who really don't even want the PDF on our hard drive. we'd rather have it stored in the cloud for us, and we can access it anytime we want to. Okay. So those are that are a little bit more techy. And so that is how you can get the magazine is through MagCloud. I just put the links in. We have one that's a shorter link. It's easier to work with when you copy and paste it. Okay, and the other one is the longer HTTPS link to MagCloud. Will take you directly to our publishing page at MagCloud. Right? Yeah. Good one. Yay. Hey, Margaret just joined us. Hey, Margaret. Oh, Minnie Kansman's here too, one of my other sisters. All right, now that Minnie's here, I got to do this. Sorry, guys, you're going to have to hang with me just for a minute here. I wanna pull this picture back up. So Minnie, we talked about Sharon's article and artist appreciation and Christine's Pluto picture. I know. I just love looking at this. And knowing the artist helps. It really does. But all the color and all of that. I just wanted to have Minnie see Christine's picture front and center. Pluto. Gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous. All right. Okay, so now I have some information for you guys that I want to share with you because many of you do purchase the magazine. Some of you actually have subscriptions to the magazine through Apple or Google. Okay, and so and I've been sharing about this for the last few weeks. So if you haven't heard it yet, now's the chance to get the scoop on it, right? All right, so deep breath. Deep breath. Our partners at Magcast, they're our original partners that that's where I learned how to create the app for the magazine back in 2013, early 2013. Our original partners. And what they do is they take our PDF and they digitize it for your iPhone and your tablet. Okay. So, and they also help us with to have it at Apple, at iTunes Store, and at Google Play Store. All right. So Magcast about 3 weeks ago, I think it was like right at the beginning of Mercury retrograde, they were hacked. They had a ransomware hack, and the code for the app was being held for ransom, as well as our magazines, the ones that we had already published. And so they were demanding so much money for the release of, right? Well, our partners, they're handling this really, really well. Very professional, and they're keeping us informed every step of the way. Honestly, it was a shock to me when they sent us the communication about it. And so what has occurred since then is that they made the decision, Magcast made the decision after much deliberation with several companies, is that they were not going to pay the ransomware and that they were going to use the money that they would have paid the ransom with to rebuild and restore the Magcast app. So what does all that mean, right? That means that if you downloaded any of the magazines from Apple or Google, you are not able to access them. You weren't able to even purchase the July issue or the August issue, okay, through Apple or Google. Yeah. Well, they have a lot of people working on this. They really do. Our original code that we started with way back in 2012, 2013 with, they still had. Okay. And so they have developers working on that, had developers working on it nearly round the clock to get it to the point where it was usable. And so they finished that. They finished it yesterday, and they started uploading. Now there were some glitches to it. It's to be expected, and they worked through those glitches. And they told us this evening that our magazines are now available on Apple and Google. The past issues that you've purchased, and that you now have the ability to also purchase the August or the July and August issue through Apple or Google. Okay. Now, if you have any difficulty with that at all, please contact me. Send me a private message. Okay. And I can take that to our partners and see if they can tell if that's something with the programming piece. All right. So if you do that. Yeah. Now the thing is that we don't have capability yet on the platform that we use to publish the magazine, the layout piece. Okay. So our partners at Elf, who are layout specialists, they've already done all their work. That their part's done. The part that needs to be working with Magcast to turn it into a digital version, that's not done yet. We don't have access to the platform yet. We don't have the rudimentary publishing tools yet. They're hoping that it's going to be on Friday, or maybe even early next week if they run into some glitches with it. So what does that mean? That means that we can actually then publish the August issue that you can get at Apple and Google Play Store. Okay. And so I have put the published date for that as August 20th. August 20th is when we're looking at publishing for Apple and Google for the August issue. Okay. And you'll get a notification about that through your phone or through your tablet when that occurs. Yeah, the rudimentary, it's like getting in the Wayback Machine and going back 5 years and using those old publishing tools. I mean, it's doable. It's doable. We won't have all the fancy, super sophisticated stuff that we were able to do for the last 2 years. But at least we'll have the August issue published. That's the most important thing. Yeah, and Christine's saying, or Manny's saying, Christine's Pluto makes me happy when I look at it. Me too. It's all those really vibrant colors. And she says, just checked in and past my past issues have all been restored. Yay, yay. That's good to know. That really is good to know. That means that it's working. Yeah, and she's using Apple. Good. Excellent. Thank you for sharing that, Minnie. And so for those who get their magazines on Apple and Google, please look for the August issue coming out on August 20th. And if there's any reason why that's delayed, for technical difficulties, I'll let you know. Okay? All right. So we're past the top of the hour. I so appreciate you guys being with me this evening and sharing about how we are seekers of spiritual information that we're searching for, right? And we continue to, no matter how far along the path that we've been on, how many times we've been around the block, we're still seekers. We're still seekers of spiritual information, spiritual knowledge. And we can do that together. And I am so happy. It makes me happy, very joyful that we can offer that, the finding, right? The treasure trove of spiritual information through Star Nations magazine. Makes me happy. Yeah, it does. Okay. Thank you so much for being here tonight. And thank you for those who are watching through the recorded video and show. Thank you so much for making time in your day to do that. We do appreciate that. And so you can get your copy, your August issue copy from MagCloud. If you'd like to try that one out, The price for the digital is the same. It's $2.99. It's not same price as it is at Apple and Google, $2.99. And they print on demand. Um, it's under $20. It's under $20 for the print on demand. And so, you know what? Many people, what they do is they buy the print and then they share it with their friends. And so they kind of do a round robin, right? Somebody buys it 1 month and then shares it. And the next person in their friend circle buys the next issue and then they share it. So if you're looking for a way to do that in a cost effective way, that's really pretty creative, I think. All right. Okay, so enjoy the rest of your Tuesday evening, and we'll see you back here next week for communications from home. And I'm not sure what we're going to be talking about yet, but I'm sure it's going to be good. All right. So enjoy yourselves, and Bama Mina, Bama Mina. That's Potawatomi for until we see each other again. Love you guys.